Pang Bingxun was a high-ranking nationalist military commander who fought against the Imperial Japanese Army and Chinese Communist Army. He stopped the IJA 5th Division led by General Seishirō Itagaki, one of the principal architects of the 1931 Manchurian incident, for capturing Linyi and converging with General Rensuke Isogai's IJA 10th Division at Tai'erzhuang District, foiling the plan to assault Xuzhou. Early life and career. General Pang was born in rural household in Hebei Province and joined the newly formed modern army under Qing dynasty. After graduating from the Manchurian Surveying Academy, he was given a rank equivalent of a captain. But when the Xinhai Revolution broke out in 1911 and his superiors suspected him as a revolutionary sympathizer and forced him to resign. After he returned home, Pang started several small businesses in order to make a living. In 1920, a bad drought hit his hometown and a famine broke out. He decided to take up military service again at the age of 41. So he entered the Northwestern Army and served under a number of local warlords, and eventually became one of the best-known military commanders in the North China region. When Generalissimo Chiang Kai-shek launched the Northern Expedition in 1926, Pang was serving under General Wu Peifu, one of the most powerful warlords controlling central and North China. Pang demonstrated his political shrewdness when he announced he was for the nationalist revolution and joined with General Tang Shengzhi. After Chiang Kai-shek purged the communists in the Shanghai massacre, the Wuhan nationalist government ordered Pang Bingxun to attack Nanjing. Pang instead joined General Feng Yuzhang's 2nd Army Group and became a division commander in Feng's units. He fought with courage and distinction for Feng Yuzhang in the Central Plains War, but when General Zhang Zulang, commander-in-chief of the Northeastern Border Defense Army, formerly known as the Fengshan Clique, declared himself for Chiang Kai-shek, the anti-Charing forces were quickly defeated. Pang again switched sides and declared himself for the nationalist government and became commander of the 40th Corps. He participated in a number of actions against the Chinese Communist forces in Shaanxi province and defended North China against the Imperial Japanese Army led by Field Marshal Baron Nobuyoshi Muto in the defense of the Great Wall. In 1935, General Feng Yuzhang and a number of his old colleagues were involved in the actions in Inner Mongolia against Japanese penetration of the region. Because President Chiang Kai-shek still held out hopes for a peaceful settlement with Japan, President Chiang sent War Minister General He to disband Feng Yuzhang's Chafha People's Anti-Japanese Army and named Pang Bingxun as chairman of Chafha Province in order to appease the Japanese military leaders. The nationalist government made him a lieutenant general in 1936 and General Pang again supported Chiang Kai-shek during the Xian incident and joined the Second Sino-Japanese War next year. Second Sino-Japanese War. In July 1937, General Pang Bingxun joined the Second Sino-Japanese War in North China. When Japanese forces struck in the Battle of Beiping-Tianjin, he covered the retreat of General Song Zheyuan's 29th Army into Shandong Province. In December 1937, his unit became part of the 5th War Zone under General Li Zongren, and from March 16 to April 17, 1938, he and General Zhang Zhaizhong fought a bloody defensive action against General Seishirō Itagaki and contributed to the Chinese victory in Battle of Tai'erzhuang. After the Battle of Xuzhou, he was transferred again to North China and engaged heavily against the Japanese forces in the region. He was promoted as commander-in-chief of the 24th Army Group and became provincial governor of Hebei Province. During during his tenure as governor. His forces was clashed with the Communist Eighth Route Army, and the two sides worked out a political settlement, and armed confrontations eased soon afterwards. In 1941, the Japanese Northern China Area Army under General He launched Battle of South Shanxi, and nationalist forces lost this important battle. General Pang was already over 60 years old and asked to resign, but President Chiang Kai-shek turned down his request because experienced commanders were hard to find at the time. General Pang continued to harass and frustrate Japanese military presence in North China. In April 1943, 50,000 Japanese soldiers under General Yasuhiro Kamura stepped up the military offensives against Chinese resistance in the region and achieved a decisive breakthrough against General Pang's defense areas, and most of his units fled southward. But during the breakout from the Japanese attack, he lost touch with his army headquarters and forced to hide in a cave. General Sun Dianying, commander of 5th Corps of Chinese puppet forces, and a Japanese lieutenant captured him and forced him to surrender to Japan. General Pang was taken to the Japanese Corps headquarters, and on May 23, 1943, President Wang Jingwei of the Nanjing regime appointed him as Commander-in-Chief of the 24th Army Group. After he surrendered to Japan, the KMT government tried to win him back, and Pang agreed to rejoin the national resistance. But Japanese commanders discovered his plans and disbanded his units. In 1944, he was reassigned as to Henan as pacification director of Kaifeng, and he again contacted Chongqing through the Investigation and Statistics Bureau under Lieutenant General Dai Li. So when the Japanese forces in China surrendered next year, President Chiang Kai-shek again appointed him as Commander-in-Chief of the Vanguard Forces. His mission was to prevent the region fell into the hands of Chinese communists. Chinese Civil War and retirement. In 1946, the Chinese Civil War resumed, and General Pang handed his unit to the central government in Nanjing. General Sun Dianying was made commander of the 40th Corps, concurrently serving as commander-in-chief of the 24th Army Group. But the People's Liberation Army under Marshal Liu Bochang destroyed Pang and Sun's nationalist troops in the Handan campaign. General Pang was tasked to reorganize these broken units, and named a military advisor to the Ministry of National Defense, and went into retirement. Before the Chinese Communist forces under Marshal Lin Biao took over North China, he left Henan for Nanjing in 1948. After the Wei campaign, he followed President Chiang Kai-shek and other nationalist leaders to Taiwan. Unable to make ends meet with his meager salary, he opened up a restaurant in Taipei with his old friend General Sun Lianzhong. He died in Taiwan on January 12, 1963. Military career. 1937 General Officer commanding 39th Division, 1937 1938 General Officer commanding 3rd Army, 1937 to 1941 General Officer commanding 4th Corps, 1940 to 1943 Chairman of the Government of Hebei Province, 1943 surrender to Japan, 1943 to 1945 Command 24th Group Army Puppet Troops.